Oh, my heart is a very good morning to you. It's me, Scottie McCLUE, and we are, of course, live on YouTube just for you. The big one, Dinky Doo. Hi, Scottie. Dinky Doo, says John Jones. John Jones, are you first on this morning? How amazing is that? No, there's Stephen Douglas. Good morning, Scottie. How are you this morning? Was thinking you should be made King of Scotland. Very, very kind of you, Stephen Douglas. And Dinky Doo, welcome, welcome, welcome to our live stream. It's fantastic. Pardon me. Hi, Scottie, Dinky Doo. As soon as you start to chat, you get the thrapple, you see. That's better. Give the pipes a good clear it. Fantastic. Yes, Dinky Doo, John Jones, lovely to have you with us. And thank you for coming on and joining us. This, of course, is our last lockdown special this morning. This is the end of an era. Dinky Doo, Scottie, is the wonderful J-Dog. Dinky Doo, J-Dog, lovely to have you with us. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for all your help and advice. I think you'll see a difference in tonight's show, J-Dog. Yes, one or two bits of sussing going on there, I can tell you. Fantastic. So that's what we like. Welcome, everybody, to our very, very last lockdown special in the morning. We'll carry on with the nights until everybody gets fed up. Dinky Doo, Scottie, says Gordon Kemp, good morning. Dinky Doo, says Robster, welcome, welcome, welcome. Lovely to have you with us. Never say never, Scottie. Oh, never say never, John Jones. Absolutely never say never, John Jones. In fact, never ever say never, I would say. And never ever say never ever, because who knows? I mean, do you not remember the brigade, the anti-Scottie brigade? They used to think, he'll not be back. He's finished. And that was maybe 27 years ago, that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? There's been a lot of water under the bridge since then. Good morning. I'm so sorry about the sad news of the final show, but we'll see you at nights. Oh, Kareem, and you won't have. And the nights are going to take a big turn for the better. I can tell you, there's been one or two things sussed out, as we say in Scotland. So there we are. So you'll see. Morning, Scottie. The sun's out today again. UV is supposed to be nature's disinfectant. Yes, absolutely. And but it's interesting. Disinfectant works two ways. Although I did see the other day facts about coronavirus and untruths about coronavirus, and it was saying that the weather, whether it's hot or cold, it won't kill the virus. So they are very interesting. Dinky Doo, Scottie, final morning show question. What war was the helicopter first used? In what war was the helicopter first used? Well, Leonardo da Vinci designed one in the 1400s, didn't he? But I don't think it was flying in battle. Otherwise, they'd have had them at Culloden. So could it have been the Korean War, maybe in 1953? Is that a possibility? Some of the wee choppers then, that sort of idea. Have you set up Nightbot, Scottie? No, Gordon, but that's very much on the agenda. I can tell you, we're looking at all that stuff. Good morning, Scottie. Hope you sort out the numpties at night. Been listening to them. Absolutely, James Hasty. Tonight, you will see a big difference tonight. So there you go. And of course, we had a shocker last night that just went over the top, and we lost we lost 40 minutes of the stream. 40 minutes of a 1 hour show for nothing. There we are, just gone because of a dafty. What a beautiful morning here in Alloa, Stephen Douglas. Alloa is always beautiful. I was thinking about it yesterday. Yes, do you know Claremont, up that part of the tune? There we are, it's wonderful. The top of the tune, as they say. But I was just thinking about all the wonderful things that were in Alloa. Youngers the Brewers. Yes, absolutely. A lot of money in Alloa in its day, right at the Hill Foots there. Blair Logan, all that sort of idea. Yes, wonderful, beautiful part of the world. Dollar, wonderful. Yes, I went to Aloe Academy there. Very, very nice, very nice. There we are, good stuff. Good quality of schooling in the Hill Foots. Obviously, a lot of very clever people. It was World War II, not in combat, but used to transport goods and soldiers. The Russians, I believe. Robert Scrimger, how very, very interesting. I'm glad change is coming. Whatever you do, I'm sure it will make the streams work better. Well, J-Dog, you have been a tremendous help and a great influence on the old guy, you know. Very, very good. And I thank you for all your wonderful advice. Tremendous. Straight dealing, I say, that's what it's all about. My mother used to say that. I remember one Christmas, I'd given her a present, but I'd also thought she would benefit from £100. So I gave her £100, and I opened my present, which was lovely, from my mother, and then there was an envelope with £100 in it. And she looked at me, she said, "Fair exchange is no robbery." Wonderful. So there we are. Yes, a bit of change. No, we're just getting into the swing of it, J-Dog, and everything has to adjust. And some people will come and some people will go, you know? And I leave that to your wonderful imagination, who you think might come and who you think might go. There we go. And there might not be just one person going. I was up very late last night due to family issues. I was on YouTube liking so many videos of you. These phone-ins were class. They were just something else, weren't they? And it's funny, the half-witted idiot that didn't listen properly would go, "Oh, a terrible program, that. I don't know how he's no been sacked, you know, talking to folk like that." And of course, those that listened thought this is just bordering on the genius. This is the finest thing we've ever had, entertainment-wise. And it was, you know, it was, and although I say it myself, you know, it was the people and the things that we talked about, the things that we did, the laughter, you know, because I once said to somebody within the radio industry, I said, you know, it said, a lot of these DJs are quite nasty. He said, "You've never, ever been nasty." I said, "No, I'm not nasty. I couldn't do nasty." He said, I said, "How do you account for the success of Scottie McCLUE?" And he said, "The laugh, the humour. People love a laugh." And you've got to say, there was a few laughs going. So there we are. Scottie, I was in bed slightly earlier, by 30 minutes last night, 2:30. Well done, Kareem. This is an improvement. Now, you see, good health, and you'll be right into this, Kareem, used to say, depending on how many hours sleep you got before midnight. So can I suggest that on occasion, you do a bit of experimentation? And when Scottie McCLUE finishes at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, you get yourself ready for Bobos and just get in there, do a little bit of reading and fall asleep. Fantastic. And then get a good night's kip. Kareem, I'm the same, a nighthawk. We're what you call in Scotland, you're a lark or a hoolet. A hoolet is an owl. Wonderful descriptive language, proper Scots, you know. The lark, he's up with a lark. Oh, no, he's a hoolet. He'll still be up. Morning, Scottie. Hope you're well this morning. It's Jara John. Jara John, good morning. So there you are. Morning, Scottie. This is Keith. Excellent, Keith. Lovely to have you on. Nice to have you. And Dinky Do. Guys, I'm short on likes. I can't believe this. Can we move the chat aside and give me lots of likes? And this is our final morning program. You know, because I'll have to attend to my day job. The golden rule in media, don't give up your day job. There we go, fantastic. We used to say, when people say, "Do you think I'm famous now?" You say, "I wouldn't give up the day job yet." I suggest turning off your lights and watching a bit of YouTube until you're tired enough to go to sleep. Excellent, J-Dog. So there you are, YouTube, yes. Very good. And not too much tea at night. I mean, I'm a bit guilty, but tea keeps us awake. Stim. I always remember a guy, I'd been laying a carpet in a house, and I didn't realize that the house was virtually not soundproofed. Anyway, I got this banging at the door, and I thought, who on earth is this? Because I lived out in the country. Anyway, I went to the door, and there was a very, very, very irate and angry neighbour. And he was saying, I don't know what's going on. I know you've got to get to the house, but I just can't sleep, and all this stuff. So I, of course, profusely apologized, and I said, I really am terribly sorry. And I just kept apologizing until he calmed down, and he said, you've got to get into the house. I appreciate that, but it was just the hammering. My bedroom's just next door. I said, no, that's absolutely fine. Not a problem. Anyway, away he went because he couldn't take any more apologizing. And he said, I'll get a cup of coffee and I'll try and get back to sleep. And I didn't like to have the temerity to shout after him, I wouldn't have the coffee. There were a news flash. So there we are. But that was him. He said, I'll take a cup of coffee and go back to sleep. Everyone like, yes, can we have a thumbs up? Can everybody go to the little like, which I'm told's at the bottom right? J-Dog, please help. Where is the like? Do tell me. Scottie, I've not watched you in years. I'm going to start watching your live streams at night. It's great. Keith, we have an absolute scream of a laugh. We don't do phone-ins, but we do the odd Skype. And there's what we call super chat. And everybody, it's enabled, and everybody comes on, and I will make a comment on their comments on my comments. So that's the stuff on their comments. Scottie, if I was at work, I'd be knackered and sleep. It's because I'm off at the moment. Stephen, it's murder. I drink cola as well. So there you are. Well, you see, the sugary drinks will give you a great shoot. So I wouldn't do the sugary drinks at that time of night, Kareem, to be absolutely 100% honest. James Hasty, I know the phone-ins were great banter and fun, but just like this, very educational. And this is the point I'm making. These people are wasting your valuable time, squeezing you for info and your stories. Yes, I see what you mean. Squeezing, yes, quite right. That's why he was so ratty. Too much caffeine. Oh, he was doing his nuts. I did that. I didn't know what I'd done, you know what I mean? I was listening to the phone-in clip about fatties you gave. That woman fought for. I was squeezed with it. Well, no, we have to tell them because these people are eating themselves to death. And when I get pulled up, people say, you can't say that. You say, you have got to say this. Otherwise, they'll eat themselves to death. Listen to McCLUE. That's what I've always said. They will not take a telling. Gordon Robertson, you absolute top man. It's always lovely to hear from you. Greetings. So there we are. Thank you for putting up with last night. Sorry about the half-wits. The half-wits will now be banned. So there we are. So no dafties, because until we got a few half-wits coming on, that was just a stream to absolutely live for, wasn't it? Gordon, hello, says Kareem. J-Dog, in your portrait mode on mobile, take away the chat and you should see the chat. In your landscape mode on mobile, swipe up from the bottom to reveal the like button. Aha. Well, I'm in landscape. Now, I'll tell you what I do have. So I've got a wee square and I've got two wee round sort of concentric circles, like a two circle from the Olympic sign. I've got the camera for flipping. I've got a square with a balloon pointing down. And I've got the two concentric circles. So what do they all do? I wonder. I'm in landscape on the mobile. Scott, there's a lot of dafties on last night. I know they're just trying to be funny, but they're ruining it for others. Mo, I could not agree more. They will be getting short shrift. So there we go. Because it's not a dafty stream. I think that's maybe what they're getting wrong. And of course, talking about ruining, we lost 40 minutes of the show. Had to be destroyed. For no, for a very good reason, because a dafty had gone over the top. I'll find out what they all mean for you, Scottie. Top man, J-Dog. So it's just along the bottom. I've got going from left to right, and I'm sitting in landscape. I've got a dividing line straight across, and then the bottom bar has got the camera, which is for flipping. It's got the square, and it's got 2 circles, concentric, 1 half filled in, and then it's got 3 wee dots. Now, the 3 wee dots, they give me share, save a highlight, or mute the microphone. So if I needed to have what we call a cough, then then we mute the microphone. There we are. Morning, Scottie. Poor old Johnny Beattie, the last of the music hall entertainers. Yes, I was sorry to hear about that, he cost, but I loved the fact he got to 93. And our condolences go out to his family and to the girls, because he's got 2 actress daughters. And did you know about the Heinkel German plane that came down on the border during the war, says Count Murcielago? No, I know that Hess landed in East Renfrewshire, and they took him down to Giffnock Police Station and then out to Buchanan Castle, which in those days had the roof on it. So they are the Heinkel and Enkel. Loved that man in River City. Yes, Malcolm was his character. Oh, no. Oh, no. Fantastic. And of course, still acting. I remember somebody asked him, they said, what age are you now, Johnny? 2 things we never discuss in show business: ages and wages. So that was him, and he was a lovely guy. I remember him coming along the corridor at the BBC one day, and I was striding it along. I thought, whoops, here's Johnny Beattie. He was with one of the producers. So I stood aside, and I was carrying my piano accordion, the big one. And he stood aside and held the door for me. And he said, there you go. I said, Johnny, thank you very much. I said, Johnny. And he went, look after the box. Eaglesham Moors, Hess landed. Johnny Beattie would have seen so many of these accordions in his time because he toured and he did all sorts of things. And I've told you before, 1969. How long ago is that now? 51 years. About now. I was on the MV Ashton, and we went down to Rothsay to pick up Johnny Beattie and the Alexander Brothers, and that's when I first got really interested in showbiz. It was fantastic. So there we are, and they sat on the Ashton, and Johnny would have remembered that, wonderful. And the Ashton became the Wire Lady, and I saw her in 2002 when I was in Sheffield at Sprotborough, which is a beautiful, beautiful part of the river near Doncaster. And I heard the very sad news that at the age of, what will the Ashton be now? She was built in 1938, so she's 90. Well, sorry, I beg your pardon. She's 82. She was built in 1938, so she's 82, and she was set on fire last week. Is that not shocking? Vandalism. There we are. I'm just back with the dog, says Professor Noctihood. Malcolm the Do-Man, says Alistair Campbell. Absolutely. I told you the joke last week, didn't I? When the guy was out with his dog, and the guy said, what's wrong? You're not looking well. Should you not go home? He don't want to go home. Terrible smell in the house. He says, what do you think's doing that? He says, the wife keeps cats. He says, oh, well. He says, could you not just open the window? He says, what, and let all my pigeons out? Just back with the dog. Have I missed much, Professor Numptyhead? You will have been punished enough by missing 18 minutes and 19 minutes of Scottie McCLUE. But then you joined us a few seconds ago. Gordon Stirling was horrible last night. Hope he's learned his lesson. I don't think he'll be back, Finlay, to be absolutely honest with you. But there we go. We lost 40 minutes because of that. I saw video clips in your channel of your lab. So beautiful. And the little lab, yes. Did you see him going out on the fetch? Yes, sorry, going out on the pickup and the return. The out and the return. There we are. Yes, great wee guy. Fantastic. There you are, Stephen. You sounds like you've given the YouTube a good bit of welly last night. when you couldn't sleep. There are over 800 videos now. I don't know where they've all come from. I don't remember putting half of them up. There you are. 800 videos on YouTube for people's perusal and delight and enjoyment. Fantastic. Can you believe this is our last morning show this morning? Guys, I'll be absolutely honest with you. It's been a blast. Been lovely having your company. So there we go. Yes, I did 874, I think. Is that right, Stephen? Wow, 874 videos. So we're heading for 900. And we're heading for 500,000 people that have seen the YouTube channel. 500,000. Okay, I found out what the wee magic wand icon does. It filters your camera. So there, the wee magic wand does. The two wee circles. Scottie, why are a group of owls called a parliament? I don't know, Robert Scrimger, but I've never heard of an owl parliament, but I have heard of a crow parliament. The crows are extremely clever. And if one of their number dies, they have a funeral. And one day in the park, I thought the crows were finding a plastic bag. They were, absolutely flying around, and they were attacking a seagull. Didn't Hess end up being last prisoner in the Tower of London? They might have put him in there in McCLUE. He ended up in Spandau, and he was the only prisoner in Spandau in Germany. So there we are. And there were all sorts of conspiracy theories at the end. Was it actually Hess? See, nobody was allowed to see him. And the big conspiracy theory is that Hess had come over to make peace, to say Hitler, because he was his deputy, did not want war with Germany. And they said that they wanted to shut Hess up because obviously already Churchill was well into war, so that was the whole thing. Very, very interesting, because there was the whole movement, the appeasement movement. If you ever see a wonderful movie with Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson through the eyes of the butler and the housekeeper in a huge English country house in the 1920s and 30s, you'll see the appeasement movement. That it's a take on the appeasement movement. And that was when the British aristocracy realized that the First World War had nearly killed off their fortunes, and another war would actually do them in. And there's a story, we don't know, the validity of it, but I would believe it, that they met, the monarch used to be far more involved in political decisions. And about Ireland, they said, we'll wait till King George gets back. That was King George V. And they had a meeting, and King George V was there in his uniform and everything. And they were hinting about another war with Germany. And he exploded and he said, I don't want another war. I don't want it. If you start another war, I'll go along to Trafalgar Square and wave the red flag myself. The king, everybody would just not know where to look. Because I think, he wasn't a man to mess with, George V. Remarkable old boy. There we are. Now, ACOS. This is very interesting. What have we got here, guys? Owls will do a better job. Yes, I think so. We could do with the owls in Parliament at the moment. Not the Scottish Parliament, of course. We've got many wise owls in there. So what we've got, ACOS, he came for a meeting with the Duke of Hamilton, didn't he? Or Lord Hamilton, whatever it is. Now, it's very interesting that you've raised this, ACOS. Here's, as far as I understand, the true story. The Duke of Hamilton stayed in, what's the big country house? It was used as a holding centre for asylum seekers down in Ayrshire. What's the name of it? Somebody will come up with it. Great big country house. And it's got barbed wire and everything round it now. But it was a beautiful big country house. Is it done something, or anyway, it's used as an asylum sentence now. You'd be able to find out for me. And that was the Hamiltons' country house at the time. I don't think they bought back Lennox Love in Headington. And the Duke of Hamilton stayed there, and he was a flyer. And he had a Tiger Moth aircraft, and he had a landing strip. Now, Hess was flying a light bomber, and he crashed. And if you look at, as the crow flies, what's this house called? Is it Drum something or Dun something? Anyway, if you look at how the crow flies from where Hess crashed on the Eaglesham Moor in East Renfrewshire in Scotland, as the crow flies, it's nothing along to Drum. Oh, what was that house called? Anyway, it'll come back to me. But it's absolutely nothing along to the house. So it would only have taken minutes more in the aircraft for him to be within sight of a landing strip. Now, the argument is the landing strip was just for the Duke's Tiger Moth and wouldn't have accommodated the light Messerschmitt bomber, the ME 110E or something like that. Anyway, somebody had said he wanted to speak to the Duke of Hamilton, and when they interviewed one of the staff that had been on duty that night, they said, well, the landing lights were on just before dinner. Now, it was just minutes before Hess crashed. The landing lights were on at the landing strip in the country house. And somebody said, she said, and the Duke was waiting. And somebody said, but the Duke of Hamilton was not there that night. And the member of staff said, oh, no, I don't mean the Duke of Hamilton. I mean the Duke of Kent. So the Duke of Kent, who sadly died in an air crash in 1942, his Sunderland came down in Sutherland, and he crashed. He was waiting there. Now, was he waiting to speak to Hess? You know, had they sent the king's brother to speak to Hess? Who knows? You see what I mean? And that was never allowed to come out. And Churchill obviously would have killed any speculation like that anyway. So they were very, very interesting. I used to cry my eyes out when the Andy Pandy closing titles started. I think I'm going to get the same kind of state this morning when you start singing the goodbye song. Stop, Gordon Robertson, or you'll set me off. You know? Yes, the wee circles give you camera different filters. It used to be a wee magic wand, but it changed. I remember the magic wand. That's what's throwing me, J-Dog. Fantastic. Oh, bless you, Gordon. Gordon, it's so lovely to have you on here. We absolutely adore you. So there you go. Not a problem. And join us at night, because we'll sort out the idiots, because yourself and Kareem and Catherine and all these wonderful people, I don't want your time taken up. There's somebody told me the house. Dungivo. Thank you, Gordon. Now, I wasn't doing badly for being live on air, trying to find it coming out with Dun or Drum. So there you've got to give me that one, Gordon. Thank you for that. Yes, Dungavel. Is it Dungavel or Dungavel? Dungavel House or Dungavel House? How would you say that? And it's been a holding centre for asylum seekers. I don't know if it still is. Will there be a 2-hour show tonight? Oh, Professor Numpty, we shall have to see. Friday and Saturday are quite fun nights. The farmer gave them a wee cup of tea while they were waiting on the authorities to arrive. Yes, absolutely. And lovely, lovely Scottish people. And I don't think they realised, obviously, who it was. And the authorities didn't either. But the police came up, you see. And yes, I can remember that. And there was a stone put up to mark where Hess had landed, and it got smashed to bits. So I don't know what neo-political group smashed the stone. But there we are. But it was just to mark where Hess had landed. I might Skype tomorrow night. We'll see. We'll see, J-Dog. There is no pressure. It's lovely to have you on here anyway. Former MP is to return to Scottish politics after the row over the border. He's moved back to Scotland after a weekend of debate on Twitter. He wants to change Scottish politics. There we are. Former MP George Galloway. How very, very interesting. There we are. Very, very clever man, even although he blocked me on Twitter. J-Dog on here says, Kareem, dinky do. So wonderful stuff. Yep, J-Dog's with us. Absolutely. Tremendous. Guys, can you believe we're half an hour into the program already? It's incredible. Have you got a mask for shopping now? It's compulsory. Professor Numpty Heed, 5 masks for £3. Now, should they not be free if it's mandatory, if it's the law? Should the masks, the PPE, not be given out to the people? Now, I know it could allow for rackets, but the Chancellor's giving out hundreds of pounds for people to go to restaurants. Surely the PPE should be free. Now, you could legitimise that by saying, you know, you need a PPE card, or we'll give you a little card to show what you've had, and if you show that the next time, or something like that, or we'll scan it, whatever. Anyway, I thought to myself, you know, this for somebody, and there's a lot of families very hard up for cash, 5 masks for £3. And but no, I'll definitely be putting on my mask now because it's the law, and McCLUE always complies. There we are. It's just as easy. My father, who was a wonderful man, as I've told you, one of his great sayings was, "It's as easy to do it right as do it wrong." So there we go. And I remember saying, sorry, I was late. I was getting ripped off by a garage at that time, out in the north side of the city. And he said, I said, sorry, I was late. The car broke down. He said, what's wrong with the car? I said, she's overheating. He said, well, they've got gaskets for that. As if to say that can be sorted. Totally agree. If mandatory, yes, it's mandatory, and I think it should be free. I think you should be able to pick up your allocation. So there you go. Did Kareem pay for your masks? Professor Numpty Heed, I think you paid for the masks, and Kareem probably paid for the masks as well. So sad, says J-Dog. Yes, absolutely. We'll have to wear a mask today for my shopping. Also, people who suffer from panic attacks, not me. Surely they should be exempt. Now, you thinking if they've got a covering over their mouth, they might take a wee turn. Is that what you're thinking, Robert? Robert Scrimger, top man. So sad, says J-Dog. Which one, J-Dog? What's the sad particular one? So are you guys having a conversation? So there we are. I remember Gordon Robertson, top man. I remember George Galloway making the American inquiry into Iraq. Inquiry. I'm wondering if you've got the inquiry right there. Should it be inquiry, Gordon? I'm just checking grammatically with the grammarian. I remember George Galloway making the American inquiry into Iraq look utterly foolish. I was cheering the TV and clapping as if the Scotland football team was winning the World Cup. Very, very, very articulate man. Yes, he did. He took the Senate for a run. I got a tartan mask and a sporty one for work. A lot of folk had masks on yesterday, which is good. Kareem, I might bring out the Scottie mask. You don't need a mask, though. It's any face covering. I use a snood. What's a snood, ACOS? And blue nitrile gloves. Yeah, but that's not for your face. That's for your hands. Robert, I take panic attacks, says Stephen Douglas. And Stephen, will you be having to wear a mask? Would that make you anxious? Out of interest, I hope you don't mind us asking. Scottie, why did he block you? He must really hate your knowledge and banter. I think he can stop the independent movement. No, I think what it was, his strap line for his shows were the mother of all talk shows. And my strap line was Scottie McCLUE is the daddy of them all. Boomf. But you see, had the boot been on the other foot, I would have seen the funny side and just left him up. Will you be putting a McCLUE badge on your mask? You know, that's a thought. The only thing is, the pin might break through. You know that we've got a dual bonnet. We've got a badge either side, you see. So there we are. So if we're wanting a serious discussion, I could turn my bonnet round. I think if you had to wear a face mask, it could bring an attack on to Stephen Douglas. So there, if you had to, well, it is mandatory. But I would imagine you can put it on to go into the shop and take it off when you come out the shop. Masks aren't a good idea for people with COPD and respiratory problems. Yes, and what about for smokers? Does that make them panic as well? Because obviously they're using up their oxygen in their oxygenated blood with 150 toxins being sucked into their lungs. They also have to design masks for the spectacle wearers. They steam up. Yes, I mean, I can remember trying on a Second World War gas mask in the Windies, steamed up. Very, very hot, because it flew around your face. That would have caused a panic, I think. Would we have to wear a mask in school, as there is not going to be any social distancing? I do really worry about this social distancing thing, J-Dog, because somebody put on social media last week, I think it was up on Facebook, in a discussion, and they put up, what was it? Oh, should it be reduced to 1 meter? And of course, the kind of dafties that support we need to get back to normal and don't care about, how many people contract coronavirus or pass away with it or whatever. They were shouting, oh, yes, a meter's fine and there shouldn't be any. And I thought, until somebody sneezes. The best example, it got taken down very quickly from social media because, like The Truth, and it showed you somebody in winter breathing out, when you see a big fog of your breath. And it showed you just the distance your breath goes. So there we are. Glenn Peacock, wonderful man. Good morning, Scottie. Farewell to your morning podcast. It's been a blast. Hope you're well, Glenn. It really has been a blast. And we have met so many lovely, lovely people, beautiful people on here. The intelligentsia, and we'll deal with the idiots at night who think that you ruin a stream. You go on and you ruin a stream. So we'll sort them. The barber's opening Wednesday. I'll be first in the queue. Numpty head, why would you want to cut off your locks? Are you not a bit like Samson? I saw a woman the other day was wearing a homemade knitted mask. It was as perforated as a string bag. I know that's like putting a colander on your face. There we are. J-Dog, same in Australia, filming has halted again. What's that? I missed the first bit of that. Missed the first bit of that. Morning, Scottie. Yes, schools. Schools in Beijing have closed today as there is a second wave. Yes, and more than likely that will be the form. You also might have to shape your beard, Scottie, so your mask fits correctly. Absolutely, Alistair Campbell. I saw a woman the other day who was wearing a oh yes, we read that on God, and I know it's ridiculous. Although, can you put a scarf around your face if you haven't got any masks? There was a shout on social media. Somebody was bullying a shopkeeper and saying to him, are you going to enforce the wearing of masks? And the wee soul was going, well, that's not my job. I'm sure the shop staff could say, excuse me, could you put your mask on, please? That sort of stuff. But it's not their job. That's the police. But do we want the police standing outside the store hitting everybody with 60 smackaroonies? You know, that's the idea. I gave myself a shave and did no bad, I was told, Sir Stephen Douglas. Very, very good, Stephen. Well done. I have a scarf I might use and see if I get into a shop. Well, Stephen Douglas, I don't know if they're allowed. That's what we're debating, you see, debating. I have a scarf. Yes. Oh, yes, I've just read that. Guys, we haven't shared a thing this morning. Now, this is just absolutely not on. You're just a distraction, the whole blooming lot of you. Nothing shared. Not a potty emptied or a child washed or a dish done. Not a full Scottish breakfast cooked. Oh, for goodness sake. Would I be going over the top to have a wee lawn sausage after the show? I've got a hankering. I wonder if you can get addicted to anything. Are the Scots addicted to lawn sausage? Is that a possibility, do you think? Lawn sausage. Square slice. Somebody comes up and goes, a square go. You go, no, a square slice for me, thanks. And an egg. Right. Okay, I've added this one as broadcast to my liked videos. How good is that? And I'll just put live now. Right, this is going up on YouTube because people are just getting up. I think we would have had an even bigger audience in the mornings if people had realised that they needed to get up. Professor Numpty, Scottie, I've no one to share with as I have no friends. Professor Numpty, that is a shock to me. I would have thought a man like you would have had the most friends in the world. That was like the guy that went along to the funeral before lockdown, of course. And there was only a couple of people there. And he said, do you know, I don't know why the turnout's so poor, because he told me he had 100 friends on Facebook. Put your Y fronts in your head if you like anything that covers the mouth and the nose. Of course, you need to put your washed Y fronts on your head. But I don't know if that would do as a mask. Were you hoping to look out the leg holes? Yes, I would be careful about that. Yes, it certainly wouldn't be suitable for driving. I wear a mask in the house all the time anyway, because even if you're on your own, it stops you eating. I don't like wearing a face covering, but if Nicola says to wear one, that's exactly what we should all do. She's played a blinder so far. Do you know that the news, the public service broadcaster last night, did quite a long piece and quite a long positive piece about the huge swing to independence in Scotland and about how much the Scottish government were winning way over, Westminster for their handling of the coronavirus. And they put in the popularity of the UK government, and I think it was 32%, something like that. I haven't got the exact percentage, but we're in the right ballpark. And Nicola, the Scottish government, was 82% of the people behind the government. They are very, very interesting times. Do you think I should share this on Grindr and Tinder? Gordon, I don't know these sites, but I think you should do what you like because you are a man of great wisdom. I have huge faith in you. And, I'm not going to tell you this, but I'm a bit of a closet fan. Count M, it's interesting, conspiracy, and one will probably never know the truth. Kareem, which conspiracy are we talking? Marks are important because more people are out and about now. Best to be safe than sorry. These idiots that don't do 2 meters, stroke mask, will cry victim and blame Nicola. Sad lives. Well, the thing is, They might not have a life to blame anybody if they don't observe the social distancing. And the trouble is they could take others away with them. That's the worry. Think about it. Breath, winter's morning, when you're de-icing your car, droplets, airborne virus. Just thinking, it seemed that when I went for dinner last night, all hell broke loose. It did, J-Dog. A guy came on and mentioned something that could have been construed as a way out of order and would have caused a massive problem. And we had to destroy the whole thing because what he said couldn't be existing within it. So there we are. And he just wasn't thinking. Somebody trying to get notoriety, trying to get noticed, trying to be funny, when it completely misunderstood the purpose of our nighttime streams, which is to attract lovely people to have fun. And we get moaning and whingers going, can you unblock me? And you've locked me out. And there's reasons for all that. So, but that will change dramatically tonight. McCLUE is at the wheel. Kareem, it's an amazing story. I think there's a lot of evidence to back this theory up. What are we talking about? Count McCLUE. Coronavirus and Scottish independence, totally unrelated. Yes, there's support and it's growing, but these are not normal times. Put Indy to one side, the now just my opinion. No, Robert Scrimger, you're quite right. But what we're saying is it's faith in the government. And the only reason, there's two things. Scotland gives all its money to Westminster, about upwards of, say, £60 billion gets paid into the Treasury from Scotland. That's why they don't want Scotland to go, obviously. So it's economic, never mind the politics. It's economic. And Scotland does not have borrowing powers, but so they're dependent on Westminster for the big handouts, giving them their money back or bits of their money back. But if Scotland started saying, well, look, if you're going to be difficult over, say, another independence referendum, and, 55 or 60% of how many at the time want it, then, why don't we just hang on to our own money? Hang on to the 60 billion. And that would be a start for our wee savings account. You see? And if you started doing that, then you would see a change. So Scotland was hanging on to all the money. Now, people will poo-poo oil, but there's oil. But there's also renewable energies. There's water. There's whiskey. There's food. Scotland's a great larder. There's all these things. There's other energies, gas, North Sea gas, all that sort of idea. Now, Scotland decided, look, we own all this, right? We've only been in union, which is a very small time, for 313 years. We were independent for thousands of years before that. The union's not working out for us, and we're not getting the respect we should via the Act of Union. Therefore, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. And, I want to look at that and see how the English administration, respond to that. And then Scotland, which set up banking, including the Bank of England, from bills of exchange, etc., for trading with Europe, right? All that sort of stuff, because Scotland's been trading with Europe for thousands of years. So what do you think of the conspiracy theory of Hitler not committing suicide, but leaving for South America and leaving the rest of his life in South America and had a family there? I saw a program, Count McCLUE, about the luxury hotels in South America, was it? That they reckoned people had arrived at. A lot of high-profile Nazis did disappear to South America. Yeah, you are. And if you look at even stuff like the Odessa File, movies like that made in the 60s, there's a book called The Grey Wolf. It's written by the team who looked into it. That'll be it, Count McCLUE. Yes. I don't know, though. I think he was very, very ill. You know, I mean, he was just very ill. His eyesight, his mental health. You know, he was still wanting to keep fighting when the Russians were at the gate. And if he had just done the decent thing and surrendered, Berlin would not have been destroyed and flattened by Russia, you know? Pardon me. Drink of water. So really, I mean, there's no doubt he had some remarkable ideas, the Autobahns, the Volkswagen, you know, these kind of things. But just once it came out, you see, he was a bit of a star to the British aristocracy in the 30s, because had the appeasement thing worked, they didn't know how dark the regime was. They didn't know of the dreadful goings-on, the thuggery, the killing, the executions, all that. You know, I don't really get involved in politics. J-Dog, you're quite right. Neither do I. McCLUE is apolitical. But it's very interesting to discuss them. You know, and as I say, Scotland's challenge is not political, it's economical. Robert, I get that, says Kareem, but when is the right time, especially now that it's over 50%? Boris won't allow Indy Ref 2. It must be a court case and one that we must win to progress as a nation. Well, take a tip from Scottie McClue. No anti-royalists, right? Because that could kill off the independence movement. So very much pro-monarchy, and on you go. And that will bring people that could be used against Scotland into line. So there you are, very interesting. I've still got my Yes badge from 2014. Yes, Professor Numptyhead. And I've still got the wee booklet that was sent out to all the households. The government says remain in Europe for economy, for jobs, for well-being, for blah, blah, blah. Remain in Europe. And that's what we're going to have to look at. And Scotland wants to get back into Europe. And the idiots that go, some independence, right? You want out of Westminster, you want into Europe. You say, yes, because Europe looks after Scotland. Westminster just takes. Take. So all your infrastructure in Scotland, that's all come from huge European funding. You know, I mean, why would you come out of a market of 510 million people and go into a market of zero? You know, I mean, who are we going to sell things to? Let me have a think. There we go. Agree, Westminster. Problem is, your Boris, only Westminster can agree to an Indy Ref 2. You need another Edinburgh Agreement. He's a hardline unionist. Yes, absolutely. That's all very well, but they need to start looking into if it's what the people want. So there we go. Of course, he's a hardline unionist if there's 60 billion quid flowing in. Hunting Hitler programs, says Count Murcielago. Yes, that was the one. It was on one of the channels. Scottie, due to Brexit and EU rules, Scottish education will not be free now for foreign students. Will we still have a lot coming over, or is this a nail in the coffin? Well, of course, foreign students are very, very helpful to the economy. Scotland needs to repopulate. I mean, I pricked up my ears last week when the Security Minister of Hong Kong asked the question, would you like 3 million Hong Kong nationals coming to your country? Would you like that? And I thought, what an opportunity. Because if you added 3 million people to Scotland, you'd need to, build the infrastructure, and it would need to be a slow blow. So there you are. But if you added 3 million people to Scotland, that would give Scotland a population of about 8-9 million people. Because Scotland was depopulated, you see, and you'd build all the new towns and villages. You'd then make, and I'd plump for Greenock, because I think it'd be ideal, and there's a lot of connections between Hong Kong and Greenock. And I can remember a guy from Hong Kong telling me years ago the Chinese could march in Hong Kong anytime. And that's when Britain had it. You had this little red map at the bottom there. And I would think Greenock could become the financial capital of the world and build up the Scottish economy. That's what I'd like to negotiate. So there you go. A Scottie once said, you put an alternative Scottish Conservative Unionist movement in Scotland, people will listen, not necessarily vote, but it's an alternative. Opposition is healthy. Yes, if you listen to Scottie McCLUE talks to Willie. So there you are. Or even if you had a Scottish Conservative drop the Unionist and have a proper Scottish Conservative movement, not branch offices. So you had your SNP, you had independent Scottish Labour, nothing to do with the UK Parliament, totally independent. You see, if you think about it, I don't know if it was possible, but if Scottish Labour right at the time of the referendum in 2014, when everything was running high and you had an ex-Prime Minister and an ex-Chancellor up giving a lot of baloney to try and frighten people into not voting yes, all these kind of tricks, that were played. If you actually, if Labour that day had turned on their own bosses, stayed faithful to their party roots, and said to Westminster, listen, guys, sorry to disappoint you, but we're going alone here, and we're standing for Scottish independence. Right now, Labour and the SNP, you couldn't get a fag paper between them at one point. Now one is just wandering in the political wilderness and the other one is through the roof with support, you see? And that was that. And there was huge paranoia within the Labour Party about the Nationalists. But if Labour had turned round at that time and said, we're going to go independent and we're going to support independence, they would have probably been rocketed straight into power. And the head of Labour at the time would have been the First Minister the next day. Scottie once said, yes, absolutely. You'll be thinking I'm always greeting, but the tears were streaming down my face when the IndyRef results were coming in back in 2014. Gordon, I don't think you're always greeting. I think you're an emotional man and you're upfront about it. And we need a lot more emotion showing from men, because you had a sort of load of thugs around in the old days that would say to a wee boy, stop crying, you'll have a wee lassie. And that was enough to have a profound psychological effect on generations of Scottish young men. So there we are. So no, you're a thoughtful and sensitive and emotional man, and every single man should be like that, including McClue. There we go. Wonderful. It sometimes catches you, doesn't it? God save the Queen, says David Taylor. Absolutely, David Taylor. And you see, we would need the Queen on board if Scotland wanted to be independent. So we need to get rid of the anti-royalists from the nationalist movement. Say, sorry, if you don't support the monarchy, you don't get a vote. It should be treason. There we go. He was allegedly had a daughter. This is Count Murcielago talking about Hitler. He allegedly had a daughter, and they are still living in South America. I think he was too clever to commit suicide because he became much fitter and allegedly died at 87. Now, somebody would have been on to that. Somebody would have been on to that. Definitely. Robert, to be honest, Scotland is sovereign and should not need permission. There will be a big political fight coming soon, and we all need to get involved in it for our future. Yes, but remember, Kareem, the Queen is sovereign in Scotland. The Parliament is only sovereign. The people are only sovereign as far as the Parliament goes. So there we are. There's a wee clause in there. There's a wee get out. We're getting close to the end of this. I'm starting to sniff and getting watery eyes. Paper hankies are ready for the goodbye song. Yes, we need to go. It's been a blast. Goodbye, Scottie. Have a great day. See you tonight for a better stream. Whatever you want to use, either bot or moderators. Dinky do. Wonderful, J-Dog. Thank you. Alistair Campbell. Himmler, the poultry farmer who set up the campsite, looked like a poultry farm. If only it stuck to hens. I'm going to... David Taylor, well said. The Queen, good morning. Johnson and Mrs. McCLUE, thank you. Totally agree, Kareem, to admire the elements of the indie movement. More than the better together. We should always ask the questions, not just follow blindly. Yes, I'm no fuss whether it's a republic or not, but ACOS would need to have it sorted out before it happens. I'd welcome the Hong Kongers, delighted the offer's been made. We're putting out money where our mouth does. Not been an offer made, Gordon, but it's just an idea. Do you have any plans for today? Yes, looking after you lot, Glenn. Going to head out with the dogs. Scottie, we're looking forward to the stream tonight. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Take care. King McClure. Farewell, Scottie. Dinky do to the morning podcast. Take care, big man. Scottie the Queen will still be the Queen. We spoke about tourism. How shall help? Absolutely. Bye, Scottie. It's the wonderful Alistair Campbell. Goodbye, Robstar. Shall be on the door tonight, Scottie. Thanks. Number to heat. Back tonight. About the war. Enjoy your day. Jara John, dinky do to every single one of you. Here we go, guys. Not a dry eye in the house. For the morning podcasts. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Join in. Take care, everybody, as you go. Goodbye, everybody. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir and a cheerio. Love you all lots. Have a gorgeous day. Try and join us at 8 o'clock nightly for more streams. And farewell to our mornings. Ta-ra-las!